Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor today to introduce you to a once living legend, a father, a husband, a mentor, a president, a renowned traveler, and most of all, an inspiration to my life, Captain David E. Harris. Captain Harris was born in 1934 in Columbus, Ohio, during the time of the Great Depression. In his youth, it is possible that Captain David E. Harris heard about the Tuskegee Airmen because after reading multiple biographies about him and just learning about his story, he mentions them a few times. And if this is the case, he would have been about 11 or 12 possibly when he heard about the Tuskegee Airmen and what they did in life. This possibly could have prompted him to set his sights higher on what he could become and what he ultimately ended up doing with his lifetime. After growing up and graduating high school, Captain David Harris went to the Ohio State University. At the University of Ohio State, he graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Education, as well as set his sights on joining the ROTC program, not knowing he would be denied based off of race, but he got denied twice, and when he could have easily given up, he decided to press forward and to apply one more time. On his third try, that's where he was ultimately successful in joining the ROTC program and rose to the level of a cadet colonel. After graduating in 1958, Captain David E. Harris went into the U.S. Air Force as a second lieutenant. From there, he went and trained for basic flight training as well as advanced flight training at Big Spring, Texas, where he was ultimately successful and was awarded the Boeing 47 Stratojet. Following that, he was assigned to multiple units, not only in the U.S., but also in Europe. And during his time serving his country proudly, he faced multiple micro and microaggressions, both off base and on base. Some of the off-base discriminations was racial discrimination. On base, he couldn't get adequate housing as his other counterparts could, which is very sad to say. When the Cold War was ramping up, Captain David Harris was assigned to go to England. When he was in England, he flew the Boeing 47 Stratojet still, but this one was armed with nuclear warheads, and he also flew the B-52 Stratus Fortress for the Strategic Air Command to get important details and information about what the Soviet Union was doing. After leaving the military, Captain David E. Harris sets his sights on going to the commercial airline industry. He applied to multiple airlines, but ultimately got denied multiple times due to his race. Also, on every application, he always ended up all of them with this one sentence: I'm married, I have 2 children, and I'm black. I'm not sure why Captain Harris decided to end his applications like this, possibly to let the world know, I'm gonna tell you who I am, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what you're gonna get, and it's up to you whether you wanna accept me or not, but I'm gonna keep pressing forward and doing what I want to do. He finally caught his break when the American Airlines chief pilot said this one sentence and ultimately gave him an interview. This is American Airlines. We don't care if you're black, white, or chartreuse. We only want to know, can you fly the plane? Following the interview, Captain David E. Harris was successful and received a CJO with American Airlines on December 3rd, 1964. During his 30-year career, he flew multiple Airbus, Boeing, and McDonnell Douglas aircraft, not only as a first officer, but also rose to the ranks of being a captain. After 30 years, he decided to retire, but even after retiring, he could have sat back and looked at the legacy that he built for himself. He still decided to press forward and look at what he could do for the next generation. Captain David E. Harris is a founding father and member of the OBAP organization, known as the Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals, known to help people such as myself get into the airline industry by having mentors, resources, guidance, and anything else that you may need in order to have the highest possibilities of achieving the dreams that Captain David E. Harris had achieved. I just want to thank Captain David E. Harris for never sitting back and never waiting for somebody else to do it, but to always push the issue and to always make sure he was contributing for the next generation, such as myself. Captain David E. Harris has done remarkable things and has received a lot of honors, but to me, I still don't believe he received all the flowers that he truly should have on this earth. That is why I took it upon myself to just give you a little glimpse of who Captain David E. Harris was and what he was about and what he was doing during his life. Even to this day, you can still find memorabilia from Captain David E. Harris in the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum, as well as in the American Airlines Museum in Fort Worth, Texas. Also, during one of the ceremonies to honor Captain David E. Harris, he said this statement that I think that we should all think about. I'm honored and humbled by this award, but the reality is that there were 500 pilots, Tuskegee Airmen, who were qualified for airline jobs when they left the service. None of them received the opportunity to sit in a cockpit. There's no way I should be the first. It should have happened long before 1964. As we sit back and think about this, most of us are only the second, third, or fourth generation in the aviation industry. Even though this happened in 1964, it's only 2024, that is only a 60-year time period that us minorities have been able to get into the airlines. I'm super honored to know about the legacy that Captain David E. Harris left behind, as well as to be a part of the legacy that he built for himself. I just want to tell everybody in this world and in this industry of aviation or any industry, whenever you face obstacles, whenever you see industry not moving as it should, take it upon yourself and find people who are willing to help you make change. As I sit back and think about the life of Captain David E. Harris, and I want to give up, or I face obstacles and I feel down and out, I just remind myself that, man, if this guy could do it in 1964 when the whole world was stacked against him, how much more could I achieve now that I have people who are in the same industry that I want to be in and walk the same path that I've walked? This was a reminder to everybody, no matter what industry you're in, to always step up, brush yourself off, and keep moving forward. Because if we give up now, all of the legends that lived before us would have sacrificed so much for no reason. So remember, never give up, keep going forward, and look at their stories for passion and inspiration. And when your passion is filled by their passion, feel somebody else's passion. Because at the end of the day, if we don't help the next generation as well as ourselves, we're going to be history that is lost in the wind. If you want to become a pilot or do anything phenomenal, find somebody who's lived a phenomenal life, whether they're dead or alive, and just learn from them. I just want to say, Captain David E. Harris, I wish I could have told you thank you in person. However, I just wanted to shed light on your phenomenal life. God be safe and rest in peace, Captain Harris.